Hello and welcome to Diagnosing Life, no copay required. My name is Aryana and I am your host. I diagnose patients by day and overthink everything by night. OR to the daily chaos, I am bringing you real talk on medicine, mindset, and all the messiness in between. So let's get right into it. Today, we are going to talk about one of the most important days of our lives. And that was the day that we tied the knot, the day that we got married. The planning, the stress, working, everything in between, which of course was chaotic, just as I thought it would be. We're also going to go ahead and have a little glimpse of what married life is about. And has it really changed in the past couple of weeks since we've gotten married? Because as magical as weddings are, they're also very real life. So let's get into it. So let's talk about how planning a wedding while working as a full-time surgical PA was. There were many emails, lots of timelines, decisions, and fittings, and everything that I had to pretty much fit into this crazy schedule of my life. And honestly, the expectation of being just full of bliss and just glowing within because you're about to get married is honestly not realistic at all. I was definitely extremely stressed, especially the last couple of months leading up to our wedding. I was not only tired, I was stressed, and I was honestly just overstimulated with everything in between, from organizing when my family was going to come into town, seeing things that happened, things that I couldn't have even planned. I swear, sometimes my life is a movie and I am just an unpaid actor in it, to be completely honest. But at the end of the day, I was really happy with the outcome. Could have had been a little bit different. Absolutely. I think we all kind of look back at our wedding days and say like, oh, I wish I would have done this different, or I wish this would have happened differently. But I was happy at the end of the day. So let's kind of jump into how life was planning the wedding. As a lot of you may know, I'm a type A individual when it comes to my work or scheduling or just planning and organizing events. So we actually had our wedding planned, I want to say about 2 years prior till we actually got married. I know it's insane, but our venue just made it that easy. It was an all-inclusive venue. So they had photography, videography, if you wanted to add that on. They had the food, appetizers, cake, florals, and also all of your stationery items. So that includes your invitations, save the dates, thank yous, all of that good stuff. All of that was already included. Also the DJ. And so it was really easy for us just to plan, especially because they gave us pretty much like a wedding planner as well as a date of coordinator. And so there was a lot of emails and meetings that we kind of had to schedule, but they were really easy and flexible. I was able to do them through Zoom. So get out of work, come home, and jump on a meeting. It was really, really nice. And to be completely honest, the most stressful part of the entire wedding planning, I would say, was the last 3 months, 3 to 4 months. I would say in September, that's when it got a little stressful, only because I had to also, schedule your fittings for the wedding dress. And let me tell you, nobody told me how expensive that was. The fittings to just get it fitted was almost as much as my wedding dress. I'm not even gonna lie. I went to a couple of different people and almost everyone was quoting me around the same price. So just kind of bit the bullet and decided, okay, this one is kind of close to my home. And I went ahead and went with them. But I had to have, I believe, a total of 3 or 4 fittings. So the very first one was a consultation. They talk to you about the different things that they could do for you, where they're gonna go ahead and put it in, or they talk about the bustle. I had no idea what a bustle was. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but there's different types of bustles that they had, and I just picked the simplest one for me and what I thought looked more flattering. And so we had to talk about that, and and that was very chaotic because every time I would go, they would have to put it in more. So I mean, a girl was getting skinny, but because I was stressing out a little bit of how, like, what if my dress doesn't fit? So I was just, working out a little bit more, and I ended up losing more weight than anticipated for the actual event, which was good but also it required more tailoring. Well, anyway, that was really, really stressful. The second thing that was stressful, and this is something that nobody really prepared me for, was mailing out the invitations. So, like I said, my invites, all the invitations were already done by the venue, which was great. I just had to pick what I wanted, but mailing them out, I did not realize that sometimes people don't get them mail correctly or how expensive it is to mail invitations out. And that was something I wasn't prepared for. So I had so many people tell me that they, one, didn't receive the invitation, or there was people that didn't go to the wedding because they never received the save the date, let alone the actual invitation, which was honestly really sad for me. And I felt bad because these people thought I didn't even invite them, and I did. But that is something I didn't know how long it was going to take to mail out invitations. My mom, she never even received the actual invitation. And that's how I know that people were not receiving invitations either. So that was really crazy. That was stressful, to say the least. Also, a week before, plot twist, of course, I had to get sick. So let's talk about how I got sick the week leading up to our wedding. So a couple of weeks before, I started taking emergency. I made everyone at work take emergency. I did not want to get sick because I swear if somebody has strep a mile away, I will get strep. And I was just being very cautious. If somebody was coughing, I put a mask on. And leading up to that week, leading up to the wedding, I knew I was like, I'm not going to get sick. Everything's going to be handy dandy. And there was a cold front that the weekend before our wedding. And on Monday, it was extremely cold. I wore my jacket. I did everything, but it was still super cold. And I have a feeling that somebody came in sick to clinic. And that is how I got sick, because on Tuesday we had surgery day and I literally was not feeling well at all. I had like really bad sinus pressure. I had the really bad headaches, and my boss was also getting sick. And he was like, I have a really bad headache. And I was like, no, we're fine. We're fine. Thankfully, we had a really short surgery day. And so I went home, took medications, took a nap. The next day we had OR again. And I got there and I was feeling so nauseous. And it was not the type of nauseous like nerve nauseous. It was I'm going to get sick nauseous. And so I told him, and we got some Zolphirin. I took some Zolphirin and I just felt horrible. Like I was getting body aches. I had a horrible headache. My boss had a horrible headache. Then he started getting nauseous. And I was like, absolutely not. I'm getting sick. Thankfully, again, we had a short OR day. So we did the surgeries. I went home, took medicine, knocked out. Thursday morning rolls in. I go to clinic. I feel horrible. I look horrible. I now have like really bad like nasal drip, headache. I'm coughing. I'm losing my voice at this point. And so I look at my boss. I'm like, I need a shot. And so they gave me a steroid shot, started taking like prednisone, because I was like, if I feel like this right now, I know Saturday is going to be so much worse. And so that was Thursday. I pushed through clinic day. I made it through because I'm a trooper. And I went home and I was supposed to like help my husband make all these little chocolate bomb things for the wedding. I could not do it because I was so tired. I went to sleep, and then Friday morning I woke up. I was exhausted. And when I say exhausted, I mean I could not move because I felt so sick. Started taking my medication, and that is when I decided I need to go get Afrin. And I started overdosing on Afrin. Also, caution, do not recommend, because that was horrible. So Friday we had to go ahead and get all of our stuff because we had we had to go check into the hotel, and two, we had the rehearsal dinner. Now, checking into the hotel was another fiasco because my family was coming into town, right? And my mom never told me what time she was coming in. And she had all these like really cute boxes that she was going to give out for the people that were staying at the hotel. And I didn't know what time she was coming in because she lives 5.5 hours away. And then finally, when she told me, oh, yeah, I'm like 2 hours away, we were still setting up and getting everything out of our house to go to the hotel, which was an hour away. But there was so much traffic by that time. It was just insane, to say the least. I think the most stressful part of the entire planning the wedding process was the Friday before the wedding, because there was just so many moving pieces. And I really thought I was organized enough that I wasn't going to be that stressed, but I definitely was stressed that day. And anyway, we get to the hotel, everybody gets checked in. We go ahead and put all these cute little boxes there for everyone to pick up as soon as they check in. And we have to start getting ready for the the rehearsal dinner. So we get to the rehearsal dinner, everything was good, and my makeup was not sticking because I was sneezing so much. And I was like, well, this is the day before the wedding. Can you imagine how tomorrow's going to be? And so started taking more medication. I honestly was just trying to make it through at least the vows at that point. And so the rehearsal dinner went well. Everything went good. And we went back to our hotel. I know our friends went and partied the night before, and we did not. We went to sleep because my husband was also getting sick. And so we drank our tea and we prepared for the next day. Now, when I tell you my life is a movie and I'm just an unpaid actor, not only, okay, did I get sick before our wedding, but my uncle, which is basically like my father, he basically raised me. He was supposed to walk me down the aisle, and his two girls were going to be my flower girls, and they were super excited. Unfortunately, my uncle got extremely sick. He had a really bad pain in his back 2 weeks prior to the wedding. And, his doctors said that he was fine. It was just like a muscle spasm, A, B, C, and D. And so we ordered an MRI for him, and turned out that he had a huge herniated disc, which was insane. And so because he had so much pain, he was now having numbness and weakness all throughout his right leg. He could not walk. He could not sit for long periods of time. Therefore, he could not drive the 6 hours to my wedding, let alone walk me down the wedding. And so at this point, I'm panicking because I no longer have flower girls, right? But the man that was supposed to walk me down the aisle is no longer walking me down the aisle. I have been no one to walk me down the aisle at this point, and I'm panicking and I'm stressing. And I'm like, I talked to my mom about it, and she's like, well, I can walk you down the aisle. And I was like, of course you can. Of course my mom could walk me down the aisle. That was an easy fix, but it was still really, really sad because, I really wanted my uncle to walk me down the aisle. Those are some things that I didn't plan for. I can only prepare for so much. And that was definitely one of the things I did not plan. And that was insane. But regardless, everything happened for a reason. My uncle feels 100 times better now. We were able to, expedite his surgery. We did surgery on him a couple of days after the wedding, and he is now feeling amazing. He's walking. The numbness has dissipated, and he will make a full recovery in a couple of days, couple of months, sorry. And so yeah, that was crazy. So that happened. Let's see what else happened. The day of our rehearsal dinner, 3 of our friends were not able to make it because of work. They were not able to get out of work early enough, and they ended up getting to the hotel at 2 a.m. instead of getting there at around 4 o'clock. So cheers to that. But it was fine. The rehearsal dinner was great. The day of the rehearsal dinner was my husband's birthday as well. And so my mom brought him this amazing cake from a bakery that he likes from back home. He loved it. Everyone loved it. When I say everybody ate that cake up, they ate it up. Okay. So we were really, really happy to be able to celebrate his birthday and our rehearsal dinner. After the rehearsal dinner, we were in the car. And before we even got to the hotel, I was like, we definitely need to stop at CVS or Walgreens or something because I need more medication. So we go ahead, we get off, and we get a whole bunch of Kleenex. I had forgotten my Afrin. And so I bought another bottle of Afrin and I get some Alka-Seltzer Plus. I swear by these. And so I made sure I had the AM and PM, get back in the car, drink it. And at that point, I look at my husband and I'm like, are we serious? Like, is this real life right now? This is not how I pictured it. But of course, if anything was going to go wrong in our wedding day, it would definitely be that I am extremely sick. That obviously, like I've been sick for my birthday for the past 4 years. Every major event, I've been sick. So why wouldn't I get sick from our wedding? I don't know why I didn't think of that, but it happened. So the morning of our wedding, got up early. We had a small little breakfast and I feel horrible. I have no voice at all. It is a little chilly. And at this point, I did not think I was going to go ahead and make it through the vows. I felt nauseous. So I went ahead and made sure to drink some sulfurin, take my medication, got my bag ready because we had to go to the venue by 11 to set up because we were going to get our makeup and hair done there at the venue. So we all rushed to the venue. We get there and I tell my husband, I'm like, hey, just a reminder, you and all the groomsmen need to be here before 2:00. Because at 2:00, y'all have to be ready because y'all will be taking pictures. Okay, I'll do it. Perfect. So it's like 1:30, nowhere to be seen. I'm like, okay, we are getting our hair and makeup done. We are very calm in our suite. And 2:03 passes by. My husband is nowhere in sight. So I call him, like, where the heck and Bob are you? He's like, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. All of a sudden, there's this white truck that like zooms by and it's him. And he just like runs out of there and he goes straight into the groom suite. But it's just him. It is just him. I'm like, where the heck is everybody else? When I tell you my anxiety, actually, no, I didn't have anxiety. When I tell you my anger kind of shot through the roof at that point, I was pissed. I was like, I literally told everyone, all the guys, you guys have to be here before 2 p.m. because y'all have to take pictures at 2. I told them multiple times. They didn't get there till 2:30. They did not get there till 2:30. At that point, I'm freaking out because they have to take all the pictures. Then I have to take pictures because they have to go first and we have to take pictures. And the wedding starts at 4. So anyway, finally, all the guys get there. And all of a sudden, I just hear yelling going from the groom suite. Don't know what all that was about. But then I end up finding out that they get in trouble with the venue because they brought more alcohol into the venue, even though the venue had already supplied alcohol. But I didn't know about it, so I didn't have to stress about it. But my husband did stress about it. And he just told the day of coordinator, he was like, you handle it. I'm not dealing with it, which is very Gabe of him, which, it is what it is. So anyway, all of that ended up happening. Everything was handy dandy. We were running a little bit late for my timeline, but we were able to start our ceremony at 4. I was happy with that. So then, Gabe is up there waiting for me at the altar, and I am walking to the altar. Everything is great, all smiles. Can you believe he did not cry when he saw me? I was really upset about that, but I digress. Anyway, we go up there and everything's great. They're talking to us about our love and how, we're about to make 2 lives one, yada, yada, yada. It's time for the vows. So they say, Raymond, your vows. And at this point, he looks at me. He holds my hand and he goes, I don't know where my vows are. I wanted to kill him, but I was just laughing. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know where your vows are? He's like, no, I don't know where they are. So then I look at my little sister and she was like, I don't know. So she runs to the groom suite to look for them. And at this point, he's holding my hands really, really tight. And I'm like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Don't let me go. I'm gonna faint." Sir, we have been together for almost 8 years. What do you mean you're gonna faint? And so that just made me crack up even more. I'm dying hysterically. Like, I am laughing. Everybody there is laughing. And then my sister comes out with the vows and everybody starts clapping. She saved the day. He reads his vows. They're beautiful. I read mine. We say our dues. And that was the end. And, I made it through the vows. I was really, really happy. We go and we take lots of pictures. I am so excited to get the pictures. I can't wait for the pictures to come out. And whenever they do, I will definitely make a cute little Instagram post and probably an Instagram post about every single picture for the next year. Sorry, not sorry. But yes, so that happens. We go ahead, we take the pictures, then we go ahead and move into the reception. And it was all beautiful. The only thing I would have changed is the food. So we had half New York strip and half chicken. And I had asked for all of the steak to be medium, and it was not medium. It was more like medium rare. And some people did not like that. So I would next time, I don't think we're going to get married again, but if we have another party and we decide to do steak, I will make sure to get everybody a well done steak. That way, even if it's a little bit pink, it'll be fine, but at least it's completely well instead of rare, And it was great. We had a great time at our wedding. We were dancing and laughing, and it was an open bar, so everybody was having a great old time, and it was honestly beautiful. Even though I was sick, and even through sickness and imperfections, it was still magical, and I loved it. The speeches were one of my favorite part. I had told my sister, you're the maid of honor. You have to make a speech. And she was so nervous about it. And it was so cute because right before she did her speech, she got up and she chugged her drink down. And she did a great job on the speech. It was so touching. I really wanted to cry. I tried not to cry because my makeup was done, right? And it was great. We had the best speeches. And then one of our friends spoke for Gabe, and that was beautiful too. They've known him forever, and it was amazing. And then we just partied the night away. It was really good. Our first dance was a little bumpy. We had practiced this dance 2 days before the wedding, and we had perfected it. It was great. And then the day of the wedding, we're dancing. And I believe it was like the second or third 8 count. And Gabe goes, "I forgot the rest of it." We just kind of made it up on the fly. It was great. It was funny. We had a good time regardless. Now we have been married for about a month. And to be completely honest, it has been amazing. These weeks have been filled with laughter and teamwork, learning, and him taking care of me because I've been sick almost this entire month after our wedding. And it's just amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better partner, and I couldn't have asked for a better day. Even though I was extremely sick and things didn't go our way, it was still beautiful and imperfect, just like our life is. Weddings and life doesn't have to be perfect. Stress doesn't cancel out the joy of life. And sometimes the moments that you don't plan for are the moments that you're going to treasure forever. For example, Gabe forgetting his vows. We will forever treasure that, and we are going to laugh about it for the rest of our lives. That's definitely something that everybody has talked to us about. After our wedding, they thought it was the best thing that day. Me being sick. Like I said, of course this would happen. Everybody laughs when they find out that I was sick because of course I would be sick for our wedding. And to be completely honest, I couldn't have asked for a more perfect day. Perfection is fragile, but love is steady. And to be honest, it was beautiful, and I am happy it happened the way it did. When life doesn't go as planned, you choose connection. Connection with your family, connection with your friends, and of course, connection with your partner. So everyone, thanks for being here. If this episode spoke to you, please share it with someone that you know who might need a breather today or just a little laugh. I'd love to hear how you navigated the bumps on your wedding day or just bumps in life in general. So DM me at Diagnosing Life on Instagram and follow the Instagram and TikTok and of course YouTube videos. We would love to see you again next time. And until next time, we'll see you. Bye-bye.